Hey everyone, Dan here, Bitcoin Universalist, Universalism, right? Everybody's invited. Everybody should participate. And that, is, in my opinion, should be the goal of all Bitcoiners, is let's get everybody, all 8 billion, almost 8 billion of us, everybody involved in this. So I wanted to talk about two things. I wanted to talk about this idea of universalism and Bitcoin and the length of this future that we're looking at. You know, we're talking generations, we're talking revolutionary, evolutionary. And then at the same time, I wanted to talk about sort of, you know, what we're looking at when we're looking at short periods of time. And it's interesting, so we'll start with that. When you go on YouTube, everybody is caught up in the day-to-day and the charts and the technical analysis and the clickbait, and that's fine. You know, it's like we all need rushes of adrenaline and dopamine. I mean, that's like the stuff of life, right? When it comes right down to it, we are simply feelings machines, and the big ones for us, you know, our oxytocin, you know what that is, dopamine, adrenaline, norepinephrine, endorphins. Those are like the biggies. And those are the big feel-good ones. You know, cortisol, maybe not as useful. But we're trying to access those feelings. And so in the near term, playing around with, you know, trading, if you can stomach it, and if it's your thing, well, go for it. It's like going, you know, to the casino and playing poker. But that's not what Bitcoin is. You can do that, but Bitcoin is something so much bigger than that. And getting caught up in the daily noise and the news fulfills a certain need that we all have, but it kind of, it doesn't view Bitcoin through the lens that I believe we need to view it through. And that lens is generational, multi-generational. Because project this, right? What we're looking at is we're looking at a network that's inviolable, a network that's permissionless, a network that is trustless, a network that is perfect in its representation of truth and gets increasingly perfect in its representation of truth. And as we know, in this world of internetdom and deepfake videos and truth becomes an increasingly rare commodity. So one could make the argument that, like, as technology proliferates, truth seems to be on the decline, except with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is an inviolable representation of truth. And so when I listen to politicians in their political speak and regulators in their regulatory speak and crypto enthusiasts in their, you know, dopamine enhanced desperation to make a few bucks speak, and I listen to the sort of the daily prattle, I remember those two things, that in an increasingly technologized world, truth becomes harder. It's a harder commodity to verify, except with Bitcoin. And as more and more people adopt and become part of the Bitcoin network, and you have more and more nodes and more verification, then truth becomes part of the fabric of society. This, by the way, is why governments are frightened, particularly the smarter governments who sit around and they say, oh, this thing is kind of scary, isn't it? Because theoretically, we can, you know, shut down the internet and we can make sure that the WikiLeaks or the WikiLeaks equivalent is mitigated, or we can plant information in, I mean, you know, right? There's all sorts of ways to manipulate people into believing something to be true, but not with Bitcoin. Because with Bitcoin, every interaction, every transaction, it's all part of this superstructure of an increasingly growing network. It, using the Star Trek analogy, is the Borg, but for good. So have fun, get caught up in the daily whatever, get your dopamine, your adrenaline, play around with altcoins if you want to, whatever, no big deal. But when you look at Bitcoin, I would implore you to think longitudinally and to recognize that Bitcoin changes the world in ways that I, being almost 60 years old, will never know, but my great-grandchildren will experience. So I think that we want to make sure that all of the energy we pour into Bitcoin is from that place of heart, and the other stuff, like whatever, maybe I'll go over to the casino and play a little poker. Hope you have a great day.